Big O Show. This is the 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 Big O Show.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive a new 2025 RDX for $19 a month during our 17th anniversary sale.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take $10,000 off a 2025 Acura MDX during our 17th anniversary sale.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 80 6080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moodius Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodius.dental. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodiusdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt & Rayom can help.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive a new Acura ZDX, $439 a month during our 17th anniversary sale.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Uh-oh. I forgot to turn on the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, got to turn on the Eiffel Tower, man. You know, without the Eiffel Tower, I don't know. I'd be lost. Probably have to go back to Paris and buy one. I don't even know it. A lot of people have asked me where to get one of these. And because it's like, you know, it's like 2 foot tall or some shit. So, like, where'd you get that? I got it in Paris in a shop by the Eiffel Tower, and I wanted it for the studio, and so I had to turn it on. And for those of you that don't know, I got this when I went with the wife for our 25th wedding anniversary. We are now at 31, going to 32. So it's funny how time flies, dude. Jesus, man. Damn. We're headed next year, March will be 32 years. That's insanity. Insanity, you know? So it is what it is. So we had to turn on the Eiffel Tower. There we go. We got it going on. Don't forget, please smash the hell out of the like button. I can tell that there's a lot of hardcore early on because 23 of the 39 right away are already. So that's hardcore. Those are people that love and support the show. And thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As always, hit the like button, get the algorithms going. We'll get David Feronis on today to talk a little Dolphins. He's at camp right now. I saw Chris Perkins talking a little bit about the one-on-ones with the D and the O lineman. That's really the only drill that matters really in camp nowadays. Most of the other ones are kind of fluff. But the one-on-one D and O line, that's a good one. You get a good feel at times for where a player stands individually. And it's a nice measuring stick, put it that way, because there's really no let up going on in that one. So I retweeted back to Perk it's the best drill in camp. That's my favorite drill that I make sure I'm as close as possible to that drill. Sometimes for those of you that go to camp, if you're sitting in the bleachers, you don't really get the best of the one-on-ones. But if you're sitting on that back row where that hill is, and, you know, some of you get into those little areas with shades and all that, and that's cool. I guess those are season ticket holders and suite holders and all that kind of stuff. But the ones that come up to the fence and watch the one-on-ones, those are the fans that usually and they get a better view than even the media does, because I'm the only media member when I go that leaves that far right corner and walks all the way across and goes over to where the D and O linemen go on one-on-one, and I'm literally standing right by there. So if you go to camp, at least I would be on that back row. I know it's brutal because you have very little protection from the sun, no protection pretty much. But if you really, at least for that drill, I go and walk over there and then walk back and get back over into the shade for the rest of the practices. But anyway, all kinds of stuff. Manny Navarro will join us in this hour. We'll get his thoughts on the Canes. They are practicing. They're getting ready for, we hit August 1st, right? Well, 30 days from now, the Canes will take on Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is favored by 2.5. The over and under is 53.5. The Hurricanes are plus 114, and Notre Dame is minus 135 on the money line. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm just going to wait to make sure that everybody's, close to healthy. I don't think the line's going to change much. I'm going to take the Canes on this one, just to have a little fun to start the season. I'll give you my prediction once we get a little closer, but it's going to be a really good one for the Canes. That's for sure. That's one season that I think is going to finally come together. And if they solve that defensive issue, I just think it's going to be a damn good season overall, man. So, good stuff. Plenty of things to talk about as always, by the way. You can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or Chainlink donation because Venmo is actually growing, which is pretty amazing there. So I'm invested in all those. And right now, by the way, there's a beautiful Bitcoin dip. Oh my God. It got even better. It went down to 14.4, ladies and gentlemen, right now. 14.4. Oh my God. 14.4 right now. That's as delicious as it gets. Okay. Wow. That is strong, dude. Strong. I love that. Wow. Man. Let's see. Let's take a dive. Okay. All right. It's always fun to buy Bitcoin live on the show. So, little dip. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I don't just walk the walk. I walk the talk. Okay? I don't talk the talk. I walk the talk. Okay? There's no doubt. It's just no talkie-talkie. It's a walkie-talkie. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good dip right there. I'm in. That's beautiful. Buy a little bit more for a little less. I'm good with that. And thank you, lettuce hands out there. By the way, we're getting this dip, and I'm sure the market must be getting crushed right now. Yes, the market is down 756 points. The S&P's down 117, and the NASDAQ is down 2 now. So that's what's going on here. Actually, Bitcoin is not really taking that big a dip considering what's gone on. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, and we'll go into our crypto segment here at least. And by the way, do got to thank R&M Contractors, Ray and Mike. They do excellent work, and thanks to them as always. And we appreciate them, and they sponsor all of our crypto segments here on the show. So make sure you call Ray or Mike. If you're looking, by the way, to do anything with your home, condo, because that's the beauty that they handle homes and condo, you can reach out to our guys, 305-345-3649. Complete upgrades, kitchen remodel, appliances, waterproofing your terrace, your balcony, a flood test report, which is extremely important, especially if you live in a condo. You don't want the water going down to the second, the lower floor to the other neighbors. Or if you own a 2-floor home, you also don't want it going down to the first floor. So all those kind of things, man, please call our guys at R&M Contractors. They'll help you out. The markets are down because they revised all the job reports. Okay. It was revised down for this past month, down to 125,000. Okay. So the problem is the June report went down from 144 to 19K. I'm sorry, the May report from 144 to 19K. It was 144,000, went down to 19,000. The June report was down 133,000 from 147 to 14K. And so the job report here came in lower also this month. So now all of a sudden they've got an average of the last 3 months of only adding 35,000 jobs. So the job market is drying up, which is not a shocker. You're also deporting a shitload of people and all that stuff. So the markets now have responded to that. And this is why you're seeing this. And by the way, this is going to get worse as time goes on. It's not going to get any better. Okay. A lot of the stuff that might come in and might end up becoming a lot of AI stuff, a lot of robotic stuff. It's not stuff that's really going to hire that many people, overall. So, and you're deporting a lot of the people that may be losing a lot of these jobs. So this is bad. Okay. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate rises to 4.2%. Okay, because you only added 73,000 jobs this month, and then the other two were revised. And by the way, it's not political. This happened during Biden. This happens during the other Trump era and Obama, and now also here during Trump. The government doesn't put out those job reports. Okay, I think it's I think it's Chase and there's another big bank that they kind of handle a lot of, and they put a lot of those reports out, and sometimes they're off. Because I remember a lot of people made it political in the Biden era, because that's what the right does to the left. And now we'll have the idiots on the left say that it's all a Trump thing, that, oh, they lied about the numbers and now they revised. No, the presidency has nothing to do with it. These are reports that are independent, and then they get revised after. And I'm forgetting, man, I'm brain farting now. Who's the one that puts out couple big companies that put out the reports, but it's normal for them to be off. So it's not political. So get that out of the way. The faster you become a Bitcoiner, the faster you won't care about either side. It'll be like, it doesn't matter. You'll notice that they're both the same, exactly the same. Anyway, Michael Saylor and Strategy, they own 628,791 Bitcoin. He was on CNBC today, and they talked that they could buy up to 1.5 million Bitcoin. So they're a little bit under halfway there. So just so you know, MetaPlanet has raised now another $3.6 billion to buy more Bitcoin. All right? I'm just telling you. Don't even worry about this short-term dip here that goes on with Bitcoin. Okay, it's not really going to make a huge effect in the long term. All of everything that both sides do will empower Bitcoin, because both sides. Oh, by the way, the U.S. yesterday bought back $2 billion of debt. They have just bought over $20 billion over the last few weeks. They bought $2 more billion yesterday. People don't want to buy our debt. And we're going to be selling our debt at a higher rate. And so that's why he wants Powell to cut. And Powell now will start maybe cutting in September, because the job rates now are going down. And that's what he needed to see. He needed to see weakness in the market, and the job rate might help in cuts in September. But it'll be a quarter point. Won't be a whole point or 2 points like Trump wants. So it'll be a slow process, and maybe a couple quarter point cuts in back-to-back sessions, and then we'll see how everything responds after that. Because inflation, the economy is slowing down every month and every quarter. People don't understand that. It's actually growing at a slower rate every month. We're not doing as great as everybody says, but whatever. People don't really follow this. But it's really not. They kind of like fudge it. And so this will all catch up, and it'll all come to a head. And all the tariffs are not settled, because it's never, he throws out another thing for India and all that, and this is just never settled. And he has a tirade because of whatever somebody else does, and he cares about other people's politics and all that. So that's going to leave everything very volatile. It's funny. It's hilarious. They said Bitcoin was volatile. I would say our government, I would say our dollar, I would say our economy is a hell of a lot more volatile than Bitcoin. As Jordan's security would go, it's really funny how that has, as the world turns, and what was considered really volatile is now considered not so volatile and now considered a hell of a lot more stable than the yen, than the franc, than the ruble, than the dollar, than the peso. I'm just saying. That is your Bitcoin and Crypto Minute right there. Thanks to our friends at R&M Contractors. The irony. The irony. Man, I'm just praying for it to dip just a little more. Let's go. Let's go. Lettuce hands. Sell. Rich people are like, oh shit, these idiots are selling. Let's go. We're going to buy. Anyway. All right. It's interesting. By the way, we do want to remind you, BigCheeseMiami.com. Our report is coming in a few minutes with Manny Navarro. BigCheeseMiami.com, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. Tell them that we sent you. They will take care of you. Great people over there, man. Seriously, just amazing people over there. Gary is the best. And Billy, rest in peace. We love you, brother. And 40 years of just amazing service and food and a pillar of our community, BigCheeseMiami.com. All right, what else do we have going on? Let's get to our 3A graphics sports calendar. Saturday night, Chase Stadium. The League's Cup continues. Inter Miami will take on Necaxa. Wednesday, it'll be Miami FC back in action. They will take on Hotford. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, back in action, but it's not at Pitbull. It's on the road. They're in Hartford. The Knicks and Mikal Bridges have agreed to a 4-year, $150 million extension. He'll have a player option in 29 and 30. Terry McLaurin has requested a trade from the Washington Commanders. Got that right. He'll be 31 when whatever extension he agrees to. That's Terry's in a really tough situation. Anyway. And the Chargers last night beat the Lions 34-7 in useless Hall of Fame preseason football. I did not watch one bit of it. I saw the highlights because obviously I watch, a sports cast and all that. And so I saw the highlights and all that. But the only thing I walked away from it is the Henderson Hooker kid apparently is not really developing, huh? He had a lot of talent. That's one kid that I would have taken a gamble on in the second round, or I think, right? Second round is where he went, second or third round or something. I know he wasn't a first rounder, but he had enough talent to take a gamble on him, and it looks like he has done nothing to do. And I know that Trey Lance had, but it's, again, Hall of Fame game. It's, so we'll see. We'll see. Good for the kid. I hope one day he finds his way. It would be nice for him, right? I mean, we all deserve an opportunity, and he's gotten plenty of them. Let's see if he can take advantage of it. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. 786-618-1443, by the way, for custom printing and embroidery. Please call our friends at 3A Graphics and Alan Blanco. Today is day number, I think we got it right now, 18,828 since the Miami Dolphins lifted the Vince Lombardi Trophy on Friday, August 1st, 2025. All right. Dolphins, by the way, let's get to a couple of news and notes. Check out anything going on in practice now, Sean, because obviously for the last 20 minutes, I haven't been able to check anything going on, see if anything has broken. They did sign Brett Gabbert, quarterback Brett Gabbert, and they placed Kader Kohu on IR. Teron Armstead, by the way, is at practice today. Mike McDaniel, in his presser, mentioned that Sheffield, the cornerback, will return to practice today. B.J. Adams is at practice today. The reporters are writing. He is in concussion protocol still, so he's in a red jersey, non-contact. Aaron Brewer is still working on the side. Those are some of the news and notes from practice. Anything else you see there, Sean, that I haven't seen? Not about somebody catching a pass or getting a block or something. I'm just like let's hope for no injuries. Remember, that's when we have a really good day at training camp. 0 injuries, no big injuries. It's a good day. That's what we're hoping for. And everybody performing well and looking good. That's what's been going on in practice. Let me see what we got here. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Only 37 likes and 98 watching now. So we'd appreciate it. Jeff in Long Island, Dolphin Dave, NorCal, Jay Gelfin, Gus 1388, James Vivinetti, Kosa. Yes, sir.
Looks like Mohammed Kamara walked off the field with a trainer. So I don't know if that's an injury to look at. That was about 20 minutes ago.
Okay. All right, so we'll find out if anything's going on. He hasn't done anything so far, the late round pick. 5th rounder, I think he was. Alexis Palenzuela, Stephen Harris, Nyborg. Let's see. Big O, though I wear a shirt and tie, I still listen to Big O on the sly. Thank you very much, Nyborg. Very nice of you. Dan B., Brian Landis, Big Johnson, thank you out there. Sneak Attack 305. Some dip in the morning, not bad. 114, take advantage. I just did, just for the hell of it. Just a little dip. Add a little bit. What the hell? That's a nice number right there. The tariff effect is real taco. Yeah, it's gonna affect us. It's already at a 0.3% affecting us right now. And they really haven't even kicked in yet. All these companies have stocked up prior to all these tariffs, so they can kind of weather a little bit of it. It's small businesses that won't be able to do that because they don't have the money to stash and store the goods and then sell them later. Oscar Rojas, Skyler, Lenny, Phil Reed, Cam Smith needs to go. Always injured, doesn't show much on the field, and he'll be cut eventually. But camp just started, dude. Whatever. They got plenty of time to cut him. It'll be towards the end. They don't need to cut him now. He might wake up in a week or two, and who knows? You just never know what happens. But right now, there's no hurry. You have no cornerbacks. You know? But he is an absolute waste, unfortunately. So, what else? Jonathan Jensen. I don't know. I've seen the Zebek Network coin, but I don't know anything about it, Jonathan. So I'm not going to comment on anything I don't know anything about. I can't tell you it's good. I can't tell you it's bad. I can't tell you it's fantastic. I can't tell you it's all right. I don't know anything, my brother. So if I don't know, I'm going to tell you, dude. I got no problem with that. Ty in the Bronx, I see. Long Island, he says, if you can stand up. Oh, you want to see the Def Leppard shirt today? All right. This is one from a while back. Forgot what concert this was from. But, yeah. Forgot what year or some. It's probably somewhere in the mid-2000s or something. I don't know. What else do we have here? Juan Rosa. David G. Despite the fact I'm a cad for the Big O, I'm glad. Okay.
All right. Big O Show powered me through my workout yesterday. Today, you're helping me dig the last post hole for my 220-foot fence. Hit the like button, you lazy falkers. Yeah. We're only half the people watching hit the like, less than half the people watching hit the like button. Maybe they don't like. They watch, but they don't like. That's how it goes, man. You know, sometimes you like, sometimes you don't like. And I guess you don't like. That happens. That happens. Mike McDaniel presser today. Do I have time? I don't, because we're about to get Manny. Let me see. Oh, just curious, where do you rank the recently elected first Japanese player in the Hall of Fame, Ichiro, in baseball history? Fun fact, he's number one hits leader in all of professional baseball. Yeah, because they combined the leagues. If he was here earlier, he would have had a chance to beat Pete Rose, obviously. Dude, he's a Hall of Famer. The one guy that didn't vote him in, that's the part that I find disgusting. I would strip the vote of the person that didn't put Ichiro in. And I saw in his speech, and I don't know, he made fun of the Marlins. I didn't even know who you guys were and all that. In the speech, he mentioned it all, you know, that he thanked everybody except one guy or whatever and all that. So, you know, he made fun of it and had made light of it and had fun with it. So that was cool, but it's very ignorant on behalf of that writer. You know, that to me, you're just being a contrarian to be a contrarian. Your voting now is not done by actual, you know, substance. You're using some kind of politics or something why you wouldn't put him in. I don't know what it was. I'm not sure. But if you don't think Ichiro is one of the greatest baseball players you've ever seen in your life, you don't know baseball. He's just not a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest players I have ever seen in my life. That's who Ichiro is. Okay? It's just not, to me, the Hall of Fame doesn't mean shit. When I'm talking about Ichiro, he's like one of the elites of the Hall of Fame, is the way I look at it. That's one of those players that's like, oh my God, dude, this guy was at another level. This guy is hitting like Ted Williams. He's hitting like Tony Gwynn. You know, he's one of those guys. He's on that tear that Brett was on for the Royals for a couple of years, where he was like just crazy. You know, Edgar Martinez. You know, there are certain guys in the history of the game that were at another level hitting the baseball. Pete Rose, obviously, and he's, for me, in that level of those guys that just could do whatever the hell he wanted with a bat. Okay. And then to talk about his fielding and his arm and everything else, Ichiro is the complete player, dude. That, to me, the story is the idiot that had the balls to not vote for Ichiro in the Hall of Fame. That one descendant vote, that to me was the story of Ichiro getting in. I don't talk a lot about baseball here because it's just, you know, it's not something that really draws a lot. You know, this is why my buddy Craig Mish, he might be the person I admire the most here in South Florida sports, because he's made a living out of the toughest one to make here and excelled and broken tons of national stories and all that. And I have immense respect for the Mishmeister. So it's amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, to me, the real story in the Ichiro thing is The one guy that didn't vote him in. You know, it's like I really want to walk up and punch the guy in the face, to be quite honest. It's just like that's what I feel like right now. You know, that's what I would tell you. That would be my Ichiro take on that. All right, let's go. Let's talk a little football. August 31st, Notre Dame and Miami. Notre Dame is favored by 2.5. The over and under is 53.5. We are now on August 1st. We are 30 days away. It is time for the Big Cheese Miami.com NIL and recruiting report with the one and only Manny Navarro.
We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami recruiting and NIL report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
I don't know, Manny, but I'm feeling like a little Big Cheese right now.
That's right. It's a good time for Big Cheese Friday. You could taste in that slice of pizza or whatever it is you'd love to dig into over there. There's so much good selection.
I'm just talking because I just bought Bitcoin a little bit ago.
Okay.
It dipped into the 114.4 area, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just bought Bitcoin in front of everybody, and it's now at 115.6. It just went pa and it went back up again, and I was like, there you go. We're at 115.6.
Yeah.
And now that we have you on, it's just going to now continue.
It's going up.
So, yes, it is what it is, as they say. By the way, do you agree with me? The one guy that didn't vote for Ichiro into the Hall of Fame, we should punch him in the face.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't.
The airplane scene. The one's freaking out, and we're all
Everybody
in
comes up and slaps him.
bats. Okay, yeah, that's what should happen to that one guy. How do you? Why do you want to be a contrarian? Why do you want to be an asshole? That's one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life, dude. Forget about Hall of Fame. That's one of the greatest players to ever grab a bat, period, dude. A master.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be on the Marlins beat when Ichiro was here and spent some time around him, especially around spring training, is when you get to know guys a little bit more. And people always said, oh, he needs the interpreter. Ichiro didn't need an interpreter, man. The guy spoke perfect English a lot of the time. Just kind of had his friend employed for a long time doing the job for him. But good. Really funny guy, really great character. And you watched his work ethic, just the amount of time he spent stretching, the amount of time that he put into his body and his bats. Like the way I remember he had like a special like refrigerator, humidor for his bats to like take care of them. Like this dude did everything top of the line, like to be one of the greatest players I think of all time. And yeah, he should have been unanimous. Shouldn't have been a question.
I mean, come on, dude. I'd strip that person of the vote, bro. Come on, dude. Really? Seriously. You're not going to vote in Ichiro. Yeah, I mean, that's just like, I don't know. That makes no sense whatsoever. Carson Beck, dude. I think that whoever the quarterback is should have a heck of a year. And then this guy with the track record he already has, man, as long as the receivers and the tight ends are half decent, I don't even know if you have to be elite. If that line is what we think it is, and that running game, I'm looking for Carson Beck to have a beautiful season, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, he didn't look at all to me like a guy coming off of elbow surgery. There was a lot of zip on his balls. There was a lot of confidence. I didn't see a guy who looked shaken at all. I followed him around. He was super loose. He was joking around with all of his teammates. He looked like a guy who was very happy to be there. And I think that's sort of the number one question you always have, right? When you get a guy who spent 4 or 5 years at Georgia and has a new sort of environment and the reputation that Beck had, that he supposedly wasn't, this great team player, didn't get along with everybody in the locker room at Georgia. That was the story we were being told. And, he looks very comfortable in his skin. And I think you're absolutely right. I think there's enough around him. And let's not forget, this is an important key for the Hurricanes. That entire offensive staff has been together now for a while. Like they have the new running backs coach, but outside of that, like Shannon Dawson has been running this thing now for several years. These guys have been playing in the same exact offense, the same exact language for plays. So to me, you don't have these sort of roadblocks that you normally would, right? Because it seems like everybody changes coordinators within a year. Like you have continuity, and I think that's going to be super important for Carson Beck to have success this year. And somebody will emerge as the true number one guy. I don't know who it'll be. Everybody's kind of got a question mark in that receiver room for different reasons, but I think there's enough talent across the board that somebody will emerge, and they should have a really good offense.
I'm actually really psyched for this season. I really am. When you look at the defensive coordinator, and obviously they have been able to recruit players.
Yeah.
And so tell me, dude, I mean, that if they get an improved defense, they got a shot at getting to the ACC championship game. So where's defense? What do you think about it?
Yeah, listen, the secondary was supremely updated and upgraded. I think, you look at the secondary in particular, Zachariah Poyser, the redshirt sophomore that they got from Jacksonville State. The guy won an all-conference, won the Conference USA championship last year, and was a starter as a redshirt freshman and 75 tackles, 3 picks. He 6'2", 200. He's got the body physically. Another one of these underrated guys who Miami did a good job jumping on early, beat out some really good schools. He is going to be the key to that secondary because to me, he is, by all accounts of people I've been speaking to at Miami, a legitimate All-American type candidate. And then you add every single one of those cornerbacks. They got 6-7 cornerbacks in the portal that are all guys that are either good and have played a little bit, or guys that have played a lot and are experienced. And last year that was their biggest issue, just confusion in the secondary. And Poyser is the quarterback back there. He has the green dot on his helmet. He communicates with the staff. He does he told me he feels his strength is communication. I spoke to him for a long time. He's just one of these hungry guys. No star recruit coming out of high school. Nobody really wanted him. Ended up at Jacksonville State, playing for a good coach at Jacksonville State, who's now back at West Virginia, right? And so I think, I'm not really worried about the secondary. When I look at this team, my biggest question mark is, does Miami have the NFL draft pick at defensive tackle? Because when you think about it, all the teams that win the national championship and win conference championships every single year, brother, what position is most important on defense? You need that plug right in the middle. You need that dude who is going to, and look, Ruben Bain is healthy. He's weighing 270. He's down back. He's lost the weight. His hamstring feels 100%. He's ready to look like the Ruben Bain we saw as a freshman. But he needs somebody right next to him. And Mario has recruited dudes, but they got to step up now. You got to see these 5-star kids that they got, actually, because we've seen the 5 stars. We think about it. Leonard Taylor was a 5-star out of Miami Palmetto High School. What did he become at Miami?
All the special teams from the past all were special at that position.
And to me, that's the entire key, because he's fixed everything else. But I look at it and I say, they need somebody. And maybe that guy's on the roster. Maybe it is one of these young guys. We just haven't seen them yet. We just haven't seen them step into that role yet. But I think if that happens, if they get an elite dominating defensive tackle, then man, they could potentially win the national championship with this team. I think if that's the one piece that I got to see it. If they get elite there, then they're not really missing much.
All right. Speaking of elite, there might be an elite offensive lineman making a decision.
Yes.
Big cheese.
That's right. Brett College, who is a interior offensive lineman, big body, 4-star over at Bradenton IMG Academy, somebody that Miami spent a lot of time recruiting, is going to be making his announcement around noon today in terms of his college decision. The Hurricanes are in it for him. But I got the feeling walking away yesterday from practice that more likely than not, this is another kid who's going to end up in USC's number one. Actually, they're number 2 now. The number 2 signing class could be back to number 1 if they get this kid. Part of the insights that I gathered was, number 1, his best friend is Mark Bowman, who's a 5-star tight end from out there in California. This is a kid who isn't from South Florida or in Florida, Brett College. He's a Colorado kid, but he's a West Coast guy. So, and then his teammate, Kenye Pepe, another guy that Miami spent a lot of time recruiting, he's already committed to USC as well. So I think all signs are indicating that this is going to end up being USC. But, I had a lot of interesting conversations about recruiting, and so much has changed now and just in the last couple of years, though, in terms of state laws, high school laws, like being able to pay high school players for NIL. And basically what USC is doing here is fronting a lot of money to these high school guys to get them to sort of jump on board and commit because they can somehow get the money to them while they're in high school. And I think originally the idea was, hey, we're gonna get guys and get them lined up to get paid as soon as they walk in the door as freshmen. But again, this is a competitive sport. Everybody's looking for an angle. I'm not saying Miami hasn't done the same thing. I'm not saying other programs have done the same thing, but everybody's wondering, well, why does USC have the number 2 class in the country? Well, number one, they're desperate, right? They spent all that money on that head coach to bring him from Oklahoma, and they signed him to a huge deal, and he's got that ridiculous house, and so they've got to back it up. They've got to buy these players and get them to come. And I'm not saying Brett College is just going to USC for those reasons. I told you already, his best friend is the 5-star tight end, and his teammate is already committed there. But, my point here is just Miami's not going to get every guy as much as they spend on recruiting. And there's so many different factors for why guys pick or don't pick a particular school.
Okay, so let me ask you an unfair question, because really we won't know until they really hit the field and are in game-like situations, in clutch moments, in tough situations with their backs up against the wall, all those cliches.
Mm-hmm.
Does it seem like they're getting their money's worth right now from what they've recruited? Because obviously they've recruited and they've paid for some kids.
Yeah.
How are they looking in camp? And I know you can only, tell so much and hear about so much until they're really, their feet are in the fire. But what are you hearing about those kids?
Yeah, I think this is a really good transfer class. I think they did a good job evaluating needs and addressing needs. What you need to remember with all of this is, what are you really getting out of the transfer portal? Are you getting a Cam Ward at every single position, or are you just getting a Mish Powell, right? Because Mish Powell was a good player for them last year, right? At safety, he did a lot of things for them, helped win them, I think, the Wake Forest game with that pick 6 that he had. I think there's a lot of Mish Powells in this group versus guys that you're not going to hear from. And so I think that's important. And you need to be able to hit on guys that can contribute and play roles and not just be wasted money. I look at this roster in terms of what they accumulated here in the last year and just upgrading the roster. I don't think there's any wasted money. I think Carson Beck, when all things are said and done, is going to be worth the $3 or $4 million they spent to get him to come here. And that's, by the way, what a going rate is for a guy who's won the SEC and been a quarterback in Georgia. So, I think, when you talk about dollar figures, did they waste money? I don't think. I think they're spending just as much and just the right amount that everybody else is spending that has the money available to them to upgrade their roster. And so we'll find out. There's always 1 or 2 guys, right, per year. You're like, oh, that transfer didn't work out. That guy didn't live up to the expectations. But part of that is just there's only so many guys that can. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think my favorite transfer so far, I would say Zechariah Poyser, obviously Carson Beck on offense. I think David Blay is going to be the kid from Louisiana Tech. He's an all-conference USA guy. I talked to him for a long time the other day just about how – think about the difference here, man, in dollar amounts. This guy was at Louisiana Tech. His body fat was over 30%. He made all-conference first team, not even having the proper nutrition, not having the kind of weight room Miami has. Now he comes here. He's got all the resources he needs to really develop. So I think, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with some of these players. But I think the spending has been the right amount. And I don't project many misses here with this group.
I got to get kind of somewhat political, I guess, because they're getting political in college football. And like as a Bitcoiner, I get to watch both sides just do one disaster after another. And a lot of these trade deals, people don't realize they're not real deals because they're not done through Congress. There's there's nothing in writing. It's just kind of a disaster. And it's not something that can really be enforced, actually, to be quite honest. It's
Right.
only something that can be done through threats and all of that. So now, in turn, he's trying to get involved in the NIL deal.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is not done through Congress. And if it's not done through Congress, it really doesn't mean shit. So I'm just wondering, in your world, this whole talk about, Saban, lighting this fire, and then Trump trying to put some executive order that really may not have the teeth. You tell me, explain what you're hearing.
Yeah, look, I think obviously everybody who loves sports, and Trump has obviously been very connected to sports for a long time, right? I mean, you go back to the USFL franchise and just his interest in it. I think for a lot of political reasons, is trying to get involved and trying to help solve this issue, right? I mean, he's brought Nick Saban in and tried to form these committees and had these conversations about how to fix college football.
Tua something. I forgot how. I don't know the dude he was talking about. There's some Tua something. I forgot he mentioned there. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No, I just think, look, ultimately, like Saban and like a lot of these old time guys who have been around sports a long time, they just don't like the fact that you have free agency the way that it is. And the bottom line is, as long as the Supreme Court is behind these guys getting paid and having the ability to market themselves and be worth what they should earn on an open market, I just think this is all just posturing and people trying to get in the way of what they don't like about sports, which is this movement, this constant free agency. And so I get it. It's worth the attempt for him to try to get involved, right? Somebody has to get involved. We don't have a commissioner in college football. We just have a bunch of leagues, ultimately, like the SEC and Big Ten, that are the big, powerful forces, right? Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti, and they're the ones that are really running college football. The commissioners are. They're making all the decisions. They're signing the big TV deals. There's no sort of independent party of all this to regulate it. And so good try. But I just think it's all meaningless because the Supreme Court is behind the athletes. They won. The O'Bannon case forever has changed college sports.
Right.
And I just think nothing is going to change. I think free agency is here to stay for forever. And I don't know how you ever sort of put, the genie back in the bottle at this point.
Yeah, there's no chance they're going to do it. But, it's going to, like a lot of this stuff that's going on that he's doing, it'll all disappear in 3.5 years when he's gone. Because
right.
It'll all go back to how it's supposed to be done through Congress and everything. Everybody, everyone is supposed to vote on it and that long ass process that it usually takes and all that. That's how it's supposed to be done. But that's why I was wondering, because on this side of the investor side, I see a lot of this stuff and it's just a lot of bullshit that people don't understand. So I wonder on the sports side if there's some of that people think, oh, he's going to change it. No, he's not.
No, this is going to be constant litigation. This is going to be a constant argument every time anything comes up. Like this Xavier Lucas case is sort of the perfect example. The Big Ten is trying to make, Wisconsin is suing Miami basically for tampering with Xavier Lucas. Well, guess what? Wisconsin didn't want to put Xavier Lucas into the transfer portal. They didn't want to lose him. He's one of their best players. And they had no way to stop him. And so every university, all these people are trying to figure out how do we get control back? And they're just, you don't really get control back. He ran the trick play on him. He's like, all right, I don't need to get in the transfer portal. I'm just going to unenroll and go to Miami. I don't, so I just, again, it's everything is going to be a legal battle. When you don't have a commissioner, when you don't have any sort of like structure and agreement and the players association and all these, you don't have any rules. It's the Wild West. And the only rules right now is that you've got this committee supposed to be looking at all these NIL deals and approving them. But again, who's to say that some kid says, well, you're not allowing me to make as much money as I want, and the Supreme Court said I could.
Yep, exactly. By the way, we have the president, right? Talking to go ahead, Sean, play it for us.
He was on the council, and Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback, who is really he's been fantastic. He's been when he's not injured, he's great. He's got to stay healthy, but he's a great guy. NFL commissioner.
That's
he's
hysterical.
a great guy because he's a Trump guy. That's
right. That's why everybody's great.
Everybody's great. Yes. What do you got going on the Athletics so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I'll have I've come out with a lot of different kind of pieces. I just did a podcast with Adam Lichtenstein and the Sun Sentinel. If people want to check that out in terms of hurricane related content, but college football wise, transfer portal stuff has been coming out, different articles on just roster construction. I'm actually going to be in Nashville next week for the player personnel convention that they have there. I think there's like 8,000 people going to this thing, and I'm going to network and talk to a bunch of folks. So there'll be stuff coming out of there, and I'll have another Miami story early next week. So there's plenty to read over at The Athletic. And again, I try to tell people all the time, they're like, oh, you're not writing about Miami as much as you used to. And it's like, well, dude, I'm doing a lot of national stuff now, and I'm doing a lot of other things. So I still got the podcast going. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Canes, come here to check out my segment every week here with Big O, and check out my podcast because it's back.
Yeah, and by the way, as they start making news, you'll add more.
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing going on, bro. Relax.
It's a lot of shorts and helmets stuff going on right now.
The biggest headline was Carson Beck's getting his Lamborghini stolen. Actually, it wasn't,
right.
And now you tell us that his arm is as explosive as a Lamborghini there on the field. So that's good.
Right. That's right. He's looking the part.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And, of course, subscribe to The Athletic. Manny, have a fantastic weekend, my friend. Un abrazo.
All right, brother. Same here. Take care.
You got it. And visit our friends, BigCheeseMiami.com. You want some delicious Italian food? The pasta shipped from Italy, cooked fresh daily, and make sure you get those garlic rolls. They are to die for.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
All right. And there it is. There's our friends at Hialeah Park. They're giving away a Corvette this time around. Alfa Romero, Mercedes-Benz, the F-150, right? The Chevy, the Lightning, right? It's just the boats, Bitcoin, gold. Now it's a little red Corvette. Come on. So let's go. Get on down there. And every time you play the machines, you get an entry. And if you're there live for the giveaway, it's a beautiful thing. Giving away that red Corvette. So get on down there. Bitcoin, by the way, is at 115,637. So that's good. I'm glad I jumped on the 114. I had to. Yeah, you had to. Right there. Yes, sir. What do you got?
Omar Kelly on X just said, today was the first day the Dolphins worked on short yardage situation. I think the offense converted every one of them.
All right. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's get to a game. And we'll find out what's real. Let's see what else. I'll tell you this, McDaniel, and you'll see it in the headline. McDaniel's miscalculation will cost the Dolphins, and the miscalculation is that he has handed the discipline to his players. And the problem is you cannot have players policing players until it's a team that has established itself and a core. And that's not something you have. In fact, one of the core pieces you lost, and he was on the sidelines today in Teron Armstead. It's interesting that he talked about this because I was going to mention Teron Armstead. I was going to mention Calais Campbell. I'm going to mention Javon Holland. There are players that you lost, Andrew Van Ginkel, whatever it is, players that you have lost, and this has caused problems for you. And these are things, Rob Hunt, that was the first wave from last year, right? Now this year you lost another wave. You just don't replace that. And the only time you can put players in a position to police themselves, it's like the Panthers. Once they've established themselves and they're winning and there's a culture set in place and there's a hierarchy set in place of guys that have set the standard, everybody's followed it, and it's led to something. These people haven't done anything. They've accomplished absolutely nothing collectively. And because of that, you cannot hold other people to a standard. Doesn't exist. And that's where, since he is weak at doing this, he is using or trying to use the players and the whole push-up stuff and all. That's all well and good now in camp, dude. That doesn't mean shit in November when the guy on the sidelines can't figure out what to do or makes a bad call or can't get the play in on time or whatever it is. Or Tua goes down and in comes Wilson or Ewers and neither one is prepared for the moment. Because you've had that happen already. To me, none of this is not a team that can police itself. This is a team that actually needs a leader to police them and set the standard, every one of them. And until you have developed the leaders from within and proven and everything has been set, it's different when you walk in and Richmond Webb's already been there for 5 years. It's different when those kind of things are going on. Then you can follow stuff like that. And then when he's here for 8 or 10, that's, ridiculous. But that's different. When you're walking into a room and all of a sudden there's Sam Madison and Pat Surtain and Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas, and they've been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and they're one of the better defenses in the league, and you come in as a young rookie, okay, now you've got – these guys can police your ass. You don't have that here. You don't have an established offensive line. You just don't have an established offense. You don't have an established defense. You don't have anything established. You don't have an established special teams. So because you don't have that established, nobody can lead. They can, somewhat lead. Tua can do his own leading. Obviously, Sealer can do his own leading, but they can only do so much. There's only a couple of those players, not enough to police everybody. And by the way, nobody's policing Tyreek Hill at all. Only a coach could do that, and you don't have the right coach. So that part, I just don't think fundamentally it's going to be some kind of foundational piece for this team because they don't have the people to implement these kind of things, unfortunately. So this is why I consistently think that this team is just not in a position to have a successful season, unfortunately. By the way, Jordan Brooks wore the orange jersey today. So obviously he was the team's top performer yesterday. What do we have here? What else? The old school Dolphins logo hat is fire. Well, this one you could get at Caneswear. I got this one at Caneswear. and you can get it 10% off with my ID. Go use Big O10, and you will get 10% off either online or in person. Okay, and if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. So there you go. They got a ton of hats with the classic logo on it. It's the only thing I wear. I would never wear the new logo. I hate the new logo. Can't stand it. So check it out, George, and get a little discount, my man. Lewis says, I received my order last week. Thank you so much for the additional gifts. The least I can do. So I'm glad we gave you a bunch of extras. Andy Jackson with intelligent comments. Buy the dip. Not that Andy Jackson or me, we're not financial advisors. Okay, Andy and myself, we're not financial advisors. We're just dudes that like Bitcoin. That's all. That's it. Andy will agree with me 100% on that. You do what you want. You do your homework. We're not financial advisors, but we're buying the dip. And right now, it paid off for me buying the dip. Right in front of y'all's, I bought the dip. When it hit 114, I was like, no. We're taking advantage of this right now. Okay. Let's see what else. How about saying something positive about the team? Jimmy, bro, you don't listen to the show because you're a little emotional bitch. But I love the Grant pick. I love the Savanaya pick. I actually love the way this offseason worked out because I wouldn't invest in Mike McDaniel. I love that they picked more defensive tackles. You just don't listen to the show. You're one of those little emotional fans that you only need positive comments and positive reinforcement in order to make you feel better or in order for you to watch the team. To me, dude, I'm a Heat fan, and I told everybody the Heat was going nowhere, and I watched the whole season. And I'll watch next season, and by the way, they're not going anywhere next year either. They're going to be mediocre, and I'm still going to watch. So the Dolphins will be mediocre this year, and in fact, I'm going to Madrid. Okay, we went to 4 trips last year. Let me ask you, Jimmy, how many road trips did you go to last year? I'm a better fan than you are, Jimmy. I can talk bad about the team. I can expect bad shit from the team and still watch, root, and hope for the best. But you're the emotional guy that you need to be constantly reinforced, and you need to be in that vacuum. This is not the show for you, bro. I have never, for 35 years, have ever been the show for the little fragile fan that needs to just have cheerleader and unicorns and rainbows and all that shit. No, dude, we live in reality. Okay? When they want to earn Panther praise, then be like the Panthers. When you want to earn Heat praise from the time they deserve it, check out what I've been talking about the Heat the last few years. Reality, bro. Riley is making one bad deal after another. Just because he was phenomenal before doesn't mean he's phenomenal now. We call it like we see it. This is not the show for the emotional little bitch that needs everything to be told that it's going to be fine and it's going to be great and pom-poms and cheerleaders. And then when it doesn't happen, oh, sorry. It's not how we do things. Okay? And if we're wrong, we're wrong. And you can have fun making fun of me if I say something's going to go awry and it goes the other way. Knock yourselves out. Okay, Jimmy? This is not the show for you, dude. All right? Because if you listen and listen well, you know I love Weaver. You know I love this to be a transition year, actually. All right? You know that I love that they picked up Madison and Ollie to bring big backs in here, but you don't pay attention. You know what I mean? But that's all right, dude. That's all right. That's all right. This is not the show for the soft fan. This is not the show for the fan that constantly just lies to themselves every year. We don't do that here, bro. We're real fans. You know, we're real fans here. If the team's going to suck, we're still going to be here. But we're not going to lie to ourselves that, oh, they're going to win 11, 12 games. How? You know, doesn't make any sense. Noah Feldman, Skyler showing he's got the TDs bad. What was Skyler doing something? Did he do anything? I haven't heard anything of him in Pittsburgh, how he's practicing or anything. I don't know anything about
him. And Skylar Tipton are going off on Trump and everything else.
On Tipton. I thought we were talking about Thompson. Did you catch part 2 of the Billy Joel documentary? Yes, I did. And that is a great documentary, bro. One of the greatest documentaries I have ever seen in my life. The Eagles is number 1, and that's number 2. You learn so much about Billy Joel. And you know, my wife said this yesterday when we were in the car, because we were listening to Billy Joel. We were, you know, driving around, running some errands, doing a bunch of stuff. And we were just listening to Billy Joel. And she goes, you know, now I hear it completely different. And you know what I'm talking about, Ray? Because now you like truly understand his story. And then a lot of the songs go with his life. So now the music of Billy Joel means so much more to you. You know what I'm saying? And it was unlike that bullshit Led Zeppelin documentary that just how to become Led Zeppelin, which was all right, but it's a bullshit documentary. It was The Song Remains the Same Part 2. They used a whole ton of concert footage, like the Billy Joel stuff. It was all substance. And yeah, they'll go to music for 5 or 10 or 15 seconds and then go back to an interview, a comment, all that. I mean, substance after substance, people that were in his lives, his wife, his ex-wives, everything. It was phenomenal, dude. It was deep. It was personal. Left it all out there. The Led Zeppelin one was garbage compared to the Billy Joel one. Sure, you get a couple of nuggets at the beginning, you know, where how John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page, oh my God, they were in Goldfinger and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you get some nuggets and all of that, but it's not a really good documentary. It doesn't really delve deep enough into the band like Billy Joel does, like the Eagles. Okay? You got to watch the Eagles one. I don't know, Ray, you're a music nut, so you probably saw the Eagles one. It's the greatest rockumentary I've ever seen. Well, I'm going to put Billy Joel right up there at number 2. That was, and I will watch that one at least a couple of more times over my lifetime. Man, that was phenomenal, dude. Yeah, I saw part 2. Me and the wife were dying to see part 2. And it was so good, bro. So good. That's how documentaries are done. Okay, not the lazy bullshit that Led Zeppelin just put out. Let's see. What else do we have? Big O, no need to worry about when to buy or buy the dip if you DC it. No, I know, but I still like to buy when it dips, just for the hell of it. I still like to buy when it dips. It's fun. It's fun. I see a dip that I think, okay, I got to take advantage of this. It hit 114. Yeah, I'm good. We're at 123, bro. You know, and we're going to go shooting past that. So I'll take it. Let's go. That's why I keep saying this 114, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Take advantage of it, bro. It's all a great dip. Let's see. What else do we have? Sam the Man says, always got to root for fine no matter what. Exactly. Favorite Billy Joel song for White Man from Town says Pressure, the Nylon Curtain. Right after the Brinkley divorce. That's the one right after the Brinkley divorce. Ray says, oh, yeah, emotional and sad. I was jamming to his catalog all week. Yep. And now, after you watch that documentary, you will hear Billy Joel's music completely different. You will be, it's funny because you will hear his music and you will now think even more of Billy Joel living the specific life he's talking about. And that those images will run in your mind now, even more than ever. Once you watch that documentary, man, that thing was awesome. Holy shit. That thing was good. NorCal says, Billy Joel is great music if you need a nap. Nah, NorCal, it's, it's not your thing, bro, but Dolphins are the greatest team in the universe. Even that giant alien ship hurling towards Earth thinks so. Did you hear about that, Pat? Yeah. Yeah. It's a big ass asteroid, they think. But the problem is it's been flying it's been like soaring at a direct line. So they're kind of confused and they're going, well, wait a minute. Is this a ship or is this a big ass asteroid? Because it's like supposedly like 2 miles long or some shit like that. So they don't know exactly yet. Man, who knows what's going on in the universe? Like, we know everything in the universe. We don't. We're just now getting the capabilities to be able to search a little deeper into the universe. But yeah, that's what Pat is talking about. There's this big ass asteroid or ship, but it's literally like a couple of miles long. And because the trajectory has been so straight, they're wondering if it's a ship. It's over for us. They're coming. The good thing is that Richard Dreyfuss is still alive. And we can send them over to the Devil's Mountain when the ship lands. Because we know that that's where it's going to land, right? It's called Devil's Mountain, the one from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I mean, it's a real mountain. It's that one that's just square, so it's a perfect place for the ship to land. So we still have Richard Dreyfuss with us. Hopefully it gets here and we've got Dreyfuss still with us. The man survives Jaws and alien ships. Nobody better than Dreyfuss, to be quite honest. Let's see. River of Dreams is when I bailed out. Well, I mean, it's kind of like he's done already, bro. He bailed out too, dude. Let's see. What else? Derek says, most music documentaries are bad. Rick James and Sly and the Family Stone were pretty good. I like the Rick James one too, actually. I didn't see the Sly one, but I like the Rick James one. I enjoyed that one. Come on, Big O. Give Jimmy a blind ass fan alert. You asked for it? Well, then Sean Stanley, master of the platform. Give it to him.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
There you go, Jimmy, just for you. Ken Harvey says Billy Joel's record-breaking 100th consecutive performance at Madison Square Garden, sold out too, by the way. Special appearance by Sting and Jerry Seinfeld. That's the other thing. You watch that documentary, and it's Sting talking about him. It's Bruce Springsteen. It's Paul McCartney, Nas. God, it's just like giants just talking about him. Elton John, just people talking about him. And like when they're saying how much better, like Bruce Springsteen is saying how much better he is than I am. Like, that's some shit, dude. You know, it's awesome. It was awesome. It's a really, really great documentary. Really great documentary. It's how it's done. It's done the right way. Not the lazy Led Zeppelin way, because of course Robert Plant doesn't give a shit anymore about Led Zeppelin. He's all into his bluegrass bullshit. And so, you know, it is what it is, but whatever. You know, that was great. That was great. That was fantastic. Big O, that 2-mile long asteroid or ship might be an alien drone in disguise. I think so. I think that Ukraine finally figured it out, and it's headed for Russia. Yep. I'm with you there. Yep. Zelensky, he built that shit. And so it's coming. Okay. It's coming. Let's see. Robert T reminds folks to smash it and the like button too. Okay. That's what you got to do. You got to smash it and the like button too. Oh, by the way, let me get to a little music and music history, and let me do that before we get there. David Feronis should be joining us any second now to talk a little Dolphins football. Let me get some music in here before David joins us, because we were talking about documentaries, right? Might as well get this shit in right now. It is August 1st, right? Let's talk about who is celebrating birthdays today on August 1st. Let's start off with musicians, right? That's what we were talking about. Let's go. Adam Duritz from Counting Crows, born in 1964 on this date. Coolio, rest in peace, my brother. Artist Ivy Jr., born in 1963. Sadly, we lost him at the age of 59 in 2022. Chuck D, for me, the greatest voice, not the greatest rapper. You know, that's a whole other, but there is no better voice I've ever heard in rap than Chuck D. Carlton Ridnour, Chuck D, Public Enemy, born in 1960. Joe Elliott from Def Leppard, lead singer, born on this date in 1959. Robert Buck from the 10,000 Maniacs, born in 1958. The amazing, the fantastic, the, I would say, indispensable Robert Cray. He is awesome. He is one and only. Great singer, blues guitarist. He can play his ass off. If you haven't seen Robert Cray in concert, you are cheating yourself of a treat. Born in 1953. Happy birthday to him. Who else? Tommy Bolin, guitarist with Deep Purple, born in 1951. Rick Anderson, bassist with the Tubes, born in 1947. Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead, born in 1942. Rest in peace. We lost him in 95. And that is it for musicians. Let's go with other famous people celebrating birthdays on October 1st. Remember, if we don't give you the age, that means they have passed away and are no longer with us. Like the Roman Emperor Claudius. He was born in 10 BC. Just lost him recently. Let's see who else. Let's get writer, lawyer Francis Scott Key. Check out the history, what he wrote. Born in 1779. Let's see. Musician Ramblin' Jack Elliott, born in 31. He is 94. Actor Dom DeLuise, born in 1933. Fashion designer Yves Saint Laurent, born in 1936. Hall of Famer Roy Williams, born in 1950. He is 75 today. Who else celebrating birthdays today? Filmmaker Sam Mendes, born in 65, he's 60. Actor Max Carver, born in 88, he's 37. And actor Jack O'Connell, born in 90, he's 35. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, sir, we do. Yoshitatsu turns 48 today. Prince Nana, he's dancing. He's 46. Prince Ayakea turns 61. Referee Mike Chioda turns 59. Carmelo Hayes, he is 31 today. And Devon, get the tables. It is your birthday today. You turn 53 on August 1st, 2025.
Okay, all right. We just backed into 114 again, 114.962. Not as low as it was before, but yeah. All right, let's go with music history. What happened today in music history? All right, we start off in 71. On this date, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour premiered today on CBS television in 1971. In 1980, Susie and the Banshees released their third studio album, Kaleidoscope. It featured Happy House and Christine. In 1980, Def Leppard made their U.S. live debut when they appeared at the New York City concert opening for AC/DC. It was also Def Leppard singer's Joe Elliott's 21st birthday, which you already know that. Okay. In 85 on this date, Tom Waits released Rain Dogs, widely considered one of his most important and innovative works. In 86, Crowded House released her self-titled debut album, and it featured Don't Dream It's Over and Something So Strong Can Carry Us Away. In 87, Midnight Oil released her sixth studio album, Diesel and Dust, and it features How Do We Sleep While Our Beds Are Burning. In 88, a Cincinnati AM radio station, WCVG, changed its format, becoming the first U.S. all-Elvis radio station. Real bright. The burning love for the format died out after a year. On August 16, 1989, it switched to talk. I mean, that's something you do back in the 70s, maybe, late 60s or something, in the middle of the Elvis deal. But yeah, late 80s at that point, when grunge is starting. In 89, the Rolling Stones released their album Steel Wheels, which contains the hit Mixed Emotions. It's actually a pretty decent album. I remember going to that tour. In 95, Ben Harper released his second album, Fight for Your Mind. It features Burn One Down. In 2015, on this date, Rush played their last concert, closing out their R40 live tour with a show at the Forum near Los Angeles. It was not announced as their farewell, but the band hinted as much. And at the end of the show, drummer Neil Peart uncharacteristically came to the front of the stage to take a bow with his bandmates. I saw that tour in Tampa. They didn't come to Miami. I remember I went a weekend to Disney with the wife and the daughter back then. God, what year was that? 15. So that was 10 years ago. So my daughter was in her teens. And so and that was a part of the plan. We were going to go to a weekend in Disney, but I was going to take a break that night to go drive over to Tampa and back to go see Rush, because it was their final tour. A lot of those of us that follow it, we kind of heard about it, and you never know with these things. But with these guys, Neil Peart really wanted to be done with it, and then he passed away. So, rough one. That's what happened today in music history. Just out of curiosity, did I miss any birthdays? Because this one usually... Oh, yeah. Tim Bachman, founding member of Bachman Turner Overdrive, was born today in 1951. I didn't mention that. Yeah, no, that's it. That's the one that I because sometimes that list has a couple of extra birthdays that maybe I did not get. What do we got on the chat board here? By the way, please smash the hell out of the like button, okay? What do we have here? Miami Breakers, Steven Gonzalez, Robert T, smashing it. Yes, sir. Hector, Big O, what comes first, the asteroid or McDaniel's fired? Well, McDaniel's will be fired before week 10. The asteroid's going to take a few more light years to get here. It'll take a while. None of us will be around by the time the ship gets here. Let's see what else. Chris says, wore out the Glass House's cassette tape. Hey, man. It's a great tape to wear out, my brother. Big O, I think Jimmy needs a butthurt fan alert instead of a blind-ass fan alert. It's probably true. Big O, read something interesting yesterday. We all grew up on the Jetsons. Well, some of us. Officially, George Jetson was the father. His four-year-old now in present time takes place in 2062. I hope I make it. So do I. 2062? I don't know if I'll make it to 2062. Dude, I'm just glad I made it to today. Okay, I'm hoping the Lord blesses me with tomorrow. You know what I'm saying, Joe? I'm just going to take advantage of today and do the best I can today and enjoy the family and enjoy my dogs and enjoy doing this with you guys, especially with the people that actually, care about us. So thank you. And don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button. Still not over 100, man. You guys could easily get us over 100. And whenever you're watching or listening or anything like that, you can also smash the like button, okay? Whether it's iTunes or Spotify or here on YouTube, anytime you're watching a rant or anything, please don't forget to smash the like button. And you can support the show by visiting our amazing sponsors. And you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And by the way, Acura of Pembroke Pines, a proud sponsor of our program. And they've got right now the Summer of Performance sales event going on. The 2025 Integra, you can get it for $299 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. The ADX 2025, $349 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. The RDX, my wife has been driving one for 15 years now, $419 a month for 4.9% financing for 60 months. And I've been with this woman for nearly 40 years. That's her favorite car of all time, that RDX. She's had a lot of good cars, but that RDX has been an absolute tank, dude. So get on down there to 15601 Pines Boulevard. By the way, Acura's made here in the United States, so you get to avoid any of the upcoming tariffs, too, on top of all of that. Visit our friends. Go see Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, and a service center led by Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber. They will take care of you at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right. What else? What's the sports bar in Indy you said again? Writing it down. Kilroy's. The Irish bar, and you gotta order the stuffed garlic breads that they come with cheese and pepperoni. Okay, that is a must. It's one of the greatest appetizers any restaurant can serve. All right, great sports bar. They got great burgers and they got all kinds of food and all that, but you've got to order the garlic breads. Okay, like put it this way, Anthony, if you don't order and you better take a picture and send it to us, post it on social media or something. If you go to Kilroy's and you don't order those garlic breads, your trip to Indianapolis was worthless. Just want you to know that. It's like going to St. Elmo's and not having a shrimp cocktail. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So, got to have the shrimp cocktail. Okay? So, you got to have those garlic rolls, those stuffed garlic rolls. Oh, my God. I wish I had a Kilroy's right here so I can go. I would right after the show, I would go just to have them because they're so good. It's one of the things I look forward to when I go to Indianapolis on a trip. The next time I go, I'm going to take the wife because I'm going to go to an Indiana Fever game. I'm going to take the wife and we're going to go for a weekend and do St. Elmo's. For sure, got to do St. Elmo's, and then do a Fever game or something, and have a little fun. I want to experience that craziness once. Go to that arena and during that whole thing. By the way, it's pretty cool. I'm glad that I mentioned this. Now you mentioned Indy, and led me to that. Sophie Cunningham, she's such a badass, and I know not the way you guys, I know the way us guys think because she's a very pretty girl, very attractive, all of that stuff. She's obviously, been a social media sensation since she got into that tussle for Caitlin Clark. And she, I love her brutal honesty. I'm becoming a real fan of hers because she goes talking about Caitlin Clark being the face of the league. And you know how you have all these women that are ignorant and stupid and biased or racist or jealous or whatever. All those adjectives describe a lot of the women in the WNBA. And all the negative stereotypes that women carry, they can all be found in the WNBA. It's disgusting, by the way. It really is. It's sad. But anyway, she goes, it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league. What? There's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We have a lot of badasses in our league. Hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that Clark is not the face of our league, or if our league would be where it's at without her, you're dumb as shit. Cunningham added, you're literally dumb as fuck. They obviously blanked it out. I don't have to. Okay? But because I loved it so much. And you are dumb. Because now you have leverage to go negotiate because of her. You have now, you're now chartering planes now. Instead of flying like everybody else, domestic, and you're like, you're in public planes like everybody. Now you're chartering jets. Why? Because of her. She's the only one that sells out NBA arenas. They have to move her games to WNBA arenas, whether it's in your town or her town. I mean, it's, again, jealousy, ignorance, bias, racism, all of those are there. And I'm glad Sophie Cunningham laid down the law. Whether you like it or not, whatever it is, whatever your silly ass bias is, she's the face of the league, dude. It ain't even close. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins. They finished practice. He heard from McD. He heard from the players. He's ready to go. So let's fire it up. Our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with the one and only David Feronis.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Feronis is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Feronis.
All right, man. Welton Rayom. Remember, folks, we are in hurricane season, but, here in South Florida or in Florida, you're in storm season all the time because torrential downpours can happen at any time, and that could cause floods. That could cause leaks in your roof, wind events, all of that. Once it hits 40 miles an hour, it could start causing roof damage. I don't know if you know that. So call Welton Rayom. They will send their adjusters. Never call the insurance company. So save this number. Maybe you don't need it now, but you might need it later. 954-966-4646. 4646. They'll send their adjusters. They will deal with the insurance company. You'll never have to deal with the insurance company. Just pick up the check at the office. 954-966-4646. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Yeah, feeling hot out here. Just came in from practice, being outside. Just heard from Tyreek Hill. So, but yeah, trying to get in right away because it went a little long today, and got to get in before we're going to have a little media session with officials ahead of the season. So, wanted to check that out if possible.
Gotcha. I got you. So, what's the latest bullshit from Tyreek that he gave us?
No, I mean, you'll probably like to hear this. He's talking about how Tua's comments, they were needed for him to hear that. So it was just a true moment of him now looking within himself and realizing, all right, this is how my teammates, my team, all of them are looking at me. So I think it was good. We talked about it when Tua said it, that him as a leader, he comes forward and makes that call. Puts that out there, and Tyreek had to take it on the chin. You could never imagine Tua saying that back in 2022 when he was a third-year pro, and Tyreek, an established every year in the league Pro Bowler. And then I think Tua really took a stride in his leadership and really sticking it to Tyreek and the team that he has to be. And Tyreek is truly taking that with him and taking it seriously, it seems.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we'll again, it's kind of a wait and see with Tyreek as it is. The bad news, Mo Kamara went to an ambulance and everything, dude.
Yeah. All we know right now is that he is okay. Nothing more than that, but just, walking off the field. He was walking under his own power, had a trainer with him. So it didn't seem like it was actually, we don't speculate, but not like a bodily injury that was affecting him.
Not a health thing, but maybe a limb thing, some kind of a ligament, some kind of damage there or something, but not. Yeah, we're not worried about a heart or breathing issue or something like that's what you're meaning by, right?
I'm not sure. Right. Well, I mean, not really like a bodily muscle injury where he's not limping or anything, but I don't know why you would go to the ambulance instead of the facility. So, you could imagine what would be the things that you would go to an ambulance for. But just one that's parked, stationary, just right outside the facility. He walks over, so to get some kind of attention over there. I don't know anything beyond that.
Hold on a second, but wait a minute a second. So if you get in an ambulance, the ambulance travels like 2 feet and then you off right next door? I mean, what's...
No, that's the thing. So it's not like the ambulance takes him somewhere. So it was just parked there. So it's, whatever they got inside the ambulance that can provide assistance. So, like if it's a station that you go to,
Maybe they're just checking something from him, some kind of...
Right. We did hear he's okay, though. He's okay.
All right.
At least.
It does seem like it's something like health-wise serious, but maybe he tweaked something and who knows. What else did you learn from the press conference today from Mike McDaniel?
From Mike McDaniel, I mean, I asked him about the Tyreek thing. And I like the way he's also going about it. So what else did boy, that was already so long ago for me. So I already watched the whole practice since it. We got annoyed. Hey, I was trying to do it in a different room. I couldn't do it outside because we got live shots going on. But we have tables slamming and everything over here. But
what is that noise?
We got setup coming in and out. We have people talking in here too. So I mean, it's mayhem. I couldn't do it outside. There's live shots. We have a press conference with officials where I normally do it. So, well, you know what? Mike McDaniel also had some great things to say about Patrick Paul, and he said it's an accumulation of everything he's done. The 5-week training on his own, the 8-week program in the off season to lead to what we're seeing from him on the field, which is extraordinary work. I mean, again, since the pads came on, he had another great practice today. He's really stonewalling pass rushers when they come in in one-on-ones, and then just also in the team setting as well.
The Patrick Paul thing, I think, is really good news. And Savanaya also looks like he's, again, we won't find out till you start seeing scrimmages against the team and the preseason games, which, unlike Tua, I would imagine the young linemen are going to get a little run here, in some of these, not just the practices, but maybe in the preseason games. So that part I'm looking forward to, seeing some of these young guys, because right now, so far, they're passing the test when it comes to practice, which is good.
Yeah, well, if you go down the depth chart on the young linemen, I wrote about this in today's practice report. The depth at offensive line is a concern. We've talked about this, but beyond the first team, then those other groups that will be getting reps in preseason, yeah, they are struggling out there and getting blown up. Today was a big red zone day. We saw a lot of that defensive line, that front seven, blow up a lot of run plays at the line of scrimmage, winning in the trenches. But the positive is the starting group of young linemen, when you look at the left side, Patrick Paul at tackle, Jonas Avainaya at guard, I think both of them have been very strong. And Jonah is very impressive for being a rookie and being already thrown into such a situation as a young player, as a starter on that side. And for two young boys on one side of the line, I know some people may have been concerned when you hear, all right, they're going to be on the same side. You maybe would have wanted James Daniels with Patrick Paul or Jonas Avainaya on the same side as Austin Jackson, so they have a vet next to them. But they're holding it down on that left side so far. So I really do want to see how it looks when they go against someone else in the Bears and the Lions in the next couple of weeks.
I'm good with the starting five. I think the starting five will be fine. They just need experience. I like them. I don't think they have any depth whatsoever. The only guy that I really overall was Keon Smith before he got injured, last year. And I know the poor kid's coming back from a knee injury. So how has Keon looked at all? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have any trust in Larry Broom or any of these guys.
Yeah, you always call him Broom. Yeah, I mean, Larry Borum has had some struggles. I've seen Keon Smith struggle as well.
On the side, actually. But seriously, Keon, what do you have you seen anything from the young man?
He was better. We certainly saw a lot more from him on the field when he made the team, and then obviously before he got injured last season in the preseason. So I think it has been a step back for him, and it's tough coming off that knee injury. So we'll see how it develops in camp for him, but it has been a step back for him, which is difficult to see. I'll take you somewhere else on the offensive line. Depth. I know Daniel Brunskill, he's taken his lumps early on in camp, and we spoke to him today that it has been a little bit of a getting acclimated. He has experience with Mike McDaniel, but with what he was doing in Tennessee, he explained how it was more lateral, and the Dolphins are actually, even though it's the wide zone scheme, that they are attacking more as offensive linemen, so he's got to get more used to that again. So it's been a little bit of a challenge for him his first week as well, but a veteran with a lot of experience, so maybe he could turn it around.
I was laughing yesterday because you responded to it also, because Alf throws out that whole thing about, Brumskill and Eichenberg, and Eichenberg has guarantees that Brumskill doesn't, and I'm like, and I tweeted back to him, dude, don't worry about it. Neither guy is saving your season. So if you're down to those guys, you're screwed. So don't kill yourself. Relax, bro. It's just like you're going way too deep on that right now. That they don't have anybody back there, bro. If they have any injuries, it's gonna be bad, dude. It's gonna be bad. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Andrew Myers, another one that you're trying to bring up because he made the team last year as a guy that didn't play, and then you're counting on a lot of unproven guys or Brunskill. He has the pedigree, but so far, it hasn't shown yet out here, but it's going to be tough. If you have a key injury on the offensive line, I like that starting group. I like the way it's all looking. But we know there is no offensive line that stays healthy for 17 games of an NFL season. The teams provide these listings of starters game by game. You're never going to see the 5 offensive linemen be the same names all year. And in some cases, like the Dolphins a couple of years ago, you have double-digit combinations of lines. So once you get down to all those next few guys, then it'll be a challenge for this Dolphins line.
And by the way, of course, this is brought to you by Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom. Welt and Rayom, 954-966-4646. And Jeff and Dan may have cases now because the noise you're hearing in the background is Mike McDaniel now. He is now whipping players when they fail in practice. So he is that. See, there you go. They just whipped another player right now. There you go. It's probably Tyreek Hill getting whipped right now as it is because he's constantly screwing up. So that is the noise you're hearing. That Mike McDaniel is a rougher and tougher coach. As you know, Barry Jackson asked him today if he's going to become a hard ass. There it is. He's whipping players into shape. All right, now on a serious note.
That was another one from the Mike McDaniel press conference. That was one where he can't just flip it around 180 like that. He's got to still be who he is, maybe with some adjustments.
I know, but he's whipping some people there. All right, so anyway, where I found I think it makes no sense whatsoever. Players can't police themselves until they're proven. And so, yeah, once your team is established and you're winning and you're like the Panthers and you've been 6 straight years in the playoffs and deep into the playoffs, and, you got a culture in place. You got people that have set the standard and tell you how to do it. That's how you develop leaders. The guys that walked out, one of the guys was on the field today watching practice, Teron Armstead. The other guy, Calais Campbell. These are the people that you need in the locker room to really set the standard and police each other. To me, this is not going to get anywhere because once adversity hits, there's nothing to lean on because this team hasn't proven anything that they can overcome adversity and that they've had success and all those kind of things. That's how you have leaders. That's how you have people that can police themselves. The ones that have been there and done it for the team at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's say I gave this example. It's year 4 or 5 of Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, Tim Bowens, Pat Surtain, and Sam Madison, right? You're a rookie. You come in. You're Channing Crowder. You get drafted. Okay, you got to listen to those guys. It's one of the best defensive units in the league for the last few years. You got a couple of Hall of Fame players walking around. You better listen to what the hell they got to say. You know what I'm saying? That's different. That you got players that can police themselves to a certain extent. I don't believe the Dolphins have that in this locker room, anywhere in the locker room. So that to me is a faulty setup for your foundation. Your thoughts?
Well, the only time the only way you ever develop that ability to overcome adversity is by overcoming it once. That's the only way you get that experience is by doing it once. So that's what would be facing the Dolphins now, and then they would have to build that on the fly, coming from last year, having an offseason to get right after that. If Tyreek Hill can be a better player for his team in the locker room, a better teammate, show the young guys the way things are supposed to be done, then those are all the things. If Zach Sealer steps up and takes a greater leadership role, who is a positive role model for the younger players. If Jordan Brooks does that, who is a positive role model, and Alec Ingold as a fullback, and Tua, if those guys take that step up to fill the voids of Teron Armstead, Calais Campbell, who are no longer around, then those are the things you need. And it's on them, as the leaders. It's on Mike McDaniel to turn it around while still being true to himself, not being some kind of 180, let me flip how I coach. He's got to be himself, but tweak how he runs a team and runs his organizations from the player standpoint. So that's how you build that is now you are hit with it, then go handle it So that's what faces the Dolphins in 2025, period, point blank.
What do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, just got all the updates from today's practice up on the site. Was running that live, and then now I'll be writing what we heard from Tyreek today on how he needs to be a better version, how Tua's words really hit home for him. That was another one. Another lashing.
As the late, great Mad Dog would say, he needs to be from Missouri, the show me state. So show me, and then
right. It's actions, not words for Tyreek, and making sure you're not fucking everything up with your words like you did at the end of last year. Just don't say the wrong words and show with action. Yeah.
But his words carry no weight anymore. He has no credibility. He has to show it. And hopefully he will, man. Hopefully he'll do it because the Dolphin fans need it in a big-time way. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Feronis _. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And, of course, support Welt and Rayom if you're looking for lawyers that are going to fight for you. The best bookend tackles in town. Until the Dolphins prove otherwise, this is the best bookend tackles in town. Jeff Welch and Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. Mr. Feronis, have a fantastic weekend. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it. There you go.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Feronis. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
We thank him. And if you missed Manny Navarro earlier, you can rewind. Of course, you can also wait because Sean Stanley will make all those interviews available on audio and on video. All of that. Sad to hear Kamara go to the ambulance. I hope he's all right. It would be nice to see if the kid can turn the corner and be some kind of a rotational player and help out a little bit. That would be really cool if that could happen. It would be a beautiful thing. What else do we have here? Big O, do you think Armstead is going to get into coaching with the Dolphins? That would be great. No, I don't think so. I think he is just, kind of enjoying his off season, and I'm sure eventually he has to have his surgery and all that kind of stuff. I think he could add a lot to players with his knowledge, but he just kind of seems like a guy who probably does not want to have to deal with today's players anymore. Like, he's going to have other interests, whether it's his music or anything else. He's a really smart dude. I could see him doing business. I could see him doing some commentating. I don't think he'll do coaching. No. I just think he's visiting the old stomping grounds. He lives here, and he loves football, so he's got a day off. Let me go see the guys. I think that's all that really is. I don't think there's a lot to read into on that when it comes to the coaching. Oscar says the Led Zeppelin film was marketed as a film. It was played in theaters, and so they needed the content that they played their songs longer. But you're right. It's like the song remains the same too. Yeah, it's just like, it is called Becoming Led Zeppelin, right? So you're telling me the story of becoming Led Zeppelin. You play too much music, bro. And I love Led Zeppelin. Don't get me wrong. I love the music and all that, but I want a documentary. I want to find out. I want information, a lot of it. Give it to me. That's what a documentary is all about. And it just, not enough. Not enough. Pat in Nashville says the aliens apparently have arrived at the training facility. Okay. What else? Turn Reek over. Nobody is taking. No, again, the only way you're able to trade Tyreek will be in the trading deadline. That he's kicking ass. You're not going to the playoffs. You're like, okay, he's playing well and not in trouble. Somebody will trade for Tyreek because you're only renting him for a couple of months. And then he's probably going to go to a team that has a playoff opportunity or a championship opportunity, and he'll keep his head on straight just for that. Because the knucklehead can actually handle that, probably. I think. Maybe. Who knows? But you know what I'm saying. The only place you get to trade Tyreek, as I've mentioned many times, will be in the trading deadline. And that's if the season has gone awry, which I expect it to. And Chubb will be the other guy that could be traded by the trading deadline. Those are two players that you could pick up picks for 2026, which would not be a dumb move on their part, because you can move on with Chop and Phillips as your young ends and then go draft another one. You could do that. What else do we have here? Perhaps the Dolphins can practice in the far Canadian north. Yeah, that would get them used to the cold weather. Miles Deep, good morning to you. It's still morning for us for 3 more minutes. Where's Bitcoin at? Where are we at? 115? Yeah, we're at 115,360 right now. All right. A beautiful buying zone. That's all I can say for those of you and any newbies out there. Okay. Definitely. I see Andy Slater is reporting that the Florida Panthers' new scoreboard will be up and fully operational for the opener on the 7th. Yay, I guess. I'm just glad they're going to be back. And by the way, with our basketball team and the pro football team not really having a lot of, man, do we need hockey. We need hockey. I think the Canes will give us a heck of a season, dude. I think we're going to get a really good season from the Canes finally. I really do. Because I think Cristobal is not going to be his normal conservative self, because he did it last year. He got out of the way of the offense, and that was huge. He let the offensive coordinator and the quarterback do their thing. I thought that was huge on his part. And if they can fix the defensive coordinator and that defense, I like what's coming, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got a really nice positive prediction for the Canes. Not for the Fins, but definitely for the Canes. This is the first time in a long time many years that I have felt really good about the Canes going into the season. I haven't felt like this in a long, long time. You know? Tyreek for McLaurin is not going to happen, bro. Okay? He wants a new contract, and he's going to be 31. Why would you give him a $30 million contract starting at 31 years old? Les Jams, my brother. Say no to drugs. Alcohol, whatever drugs you have going on or whatever it is you got going on in your life, bro, and forget about it. This guy. Oh, by the way, I'm glad you brought this up. Terry McLaurin, who, by the way, I was a big fan of coming out of school, coming out of Ohio State. I wanted him for the Dolphins badly. He's been an awesome receiver. But if you give him an extension, because he's under contract this year, you do know that, right? This guy's holding out, and he's in the middle of a 3-year, $68 million extension. So he's already making over $20 million this year, right? Because if it's 3 years, 68, you're averaging over 20. What's up? So what is it? You're under contract, but you're holding out? I don't know. I think I might have mentioned it the other day to Feronis and all of you out there. Stop thinking of, oh, he wants to be here long term. He wants a new contract. That means nothing. They want the new contract so they have you buy the balls and then they force you to trade them. So they want the new contract because once you give them the money, you're screwed. So Les Jams, my brother, you are not thinking logically. Okay? You do not make any kind of trade for Terry McLaurin. You can't. I love him. But you don't take receivers into their 30s and you don't pay them $30+ million. That's what he wants. You want to go young, dude. So you want to end the season with Tyreek or trade him by the deadline for pick. Okay? And then next year you can go draft a young guy to be next to Waddle now. That's what's got to happen. But trading Tyreek for McLaurin, oh my God, that would be catastrophically stupid. I would rip the Dolphins and the front office. There's no way they would do anything like that. It would make no sense whatsoever. So, how many blind ass fans does it take to save McDaniel's job? I don't think anything saves McDaniel's job this year. With those trades, it creates cap space for 26. Guess we'll see if this coach changes his game day calls. Don't see any changes, though. Yeah, no, he'll be gone. Yeah, he'll be gone. So, there you go. And no Micah Parsons. Stop it, Stephen. All right, folks, we're out of here. We thank, of course, Manny Navarro. We thank David Feronis. We thank the amazing Sean Stanley. Don't forget, folks, there you go. You can make a donation to the show. Help us get to Madrid to cover the game that entire week. We'll cover the events. We'll do our pre- and post-game show, all that good stuff. And you can make a donation. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum, Chainlink, and Solana donation on Venmo, which is cool. And we appreciate you all. Don't forget to smash the like button whenever you're listening or watching the show. We shall see you on Monday. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.